On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we are back in the shop with my biggest fan, and also my most dangerous fan by far. What is going on, guys? I'm WatchJRGo, and today, like I said, we are back in the shop with this fan I just bought because it looked stupid, dangerous, and I saw an engine on a fan and had to buy it. Then we found out it's what you use to inflate hot air balloons and also sometimes light bigger fires, right? You get a fire going, shove this fan up beside it, feed it some real air, and you can really make those fires take off, especially when there's no wind out. So we got it running. In the last episode, we pulled this engine all apart, pulled the front cover off, took the flywheel off, cleaned the points, and made it a runner again. So with a little shot of gasoline here, we should start it right up. It runs so well, actually. Now today, we are gonna fix the gas tank because it's full of holes from sitting with ethanol in it. The water goes to the bottom, rots through the tank. So we have that all cleaned up, and now we're gonna go to O'Reilly's, pick up the tank repair kit, fix this, make sure the carburetor works right, and be done with this fan. I am gonna clean up the guard today too. We're gonna make it all nice and shiny chrome like that, instead of how we bought it, which was, well, it's been sitting outside for years. So with that said, let's start this video with the O'Reilly's run. The tank repair kit needs like 4 hours before you can put gas in it. So while we're cleaning everything else, I want to have the tank done, sitting up, and ready to rock when we finish up the rest of the fan. So let's jump in the car and go buy that fuel tank repair kit right now. All right, guys, we are here at O'Reilly's to pick up our fuel tank repair kit. Also some engine oil. We need some 10W30 for all these small engines we've been working on, and FPR for the Camaro. Let's see what they got. All right, over here somewhere in the JB Weld aisle. What do we got? Big package. Sorry, Eric, wrecked your Raptor. That's what we needed though. That should get us back on the road, and this should fill up the next 50 lawnmowers I have to do. All right, guys, we got everything we need. Let's get out of here, go fix some small engines. And we also ordered some parts for the big engine. Camaro parts are on the way. There's a lot of Camaro parts on the way, let's be honest, but full update on that coming very soon. You definitely don't need to take the tank off to use this stuff. I could repair it like this, but it's a lot easier to get this stuff to stick if you have it upside down and gravity can help you out. So we're gonna try the gravity method here. Oop, we gotta go even smaller than 7/16 for once. And I'm gonna go ahead and pop off the tank, which just requires 3 Phillips number 2s. You also need to get the throttle cable bracket off, which is a little rusty. Didn't come off. Let's try harder. Oh, that's gonna need a socket. All right, there's tank bolt. Pull these 3 Phillips off. And hopefully we're home free. It's looking a bit like the carb's got to come off too because they trapped the tank on the frame here. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to slide a wrench in here for that bottom bolt. Possibly. I'll try to hit it at an angle, but probably isn't gonna work. We'll get a wrench in there, pop that last screw off, and then hopefully the tank can come up and out. But watch, the exhaust might have to come off too. Might have to tear the whole engine down to get the tank off. Pretty crazy. At this point, I'm sure you can tell that I wish I would have pulled the carburetor off while the front cover was off. It would have been much easier to get in here. But now, we're getting close. A couple more turns. And then we'll have the carb off, out of the way. Yeah, the gasket even looks serviceable. And the tank should fall right off. But there is a spring from the governor hooked up to the tank too. A lot of stuff hooked up to the tank on this. We made it! This is kind of bad. We got a little bad news here, guys. Well, I'm glad we didn't just run the tank. What is in there? Ah, there's the rest of the pickup tube. All right. Well, we've got some cleaning to do. Let's see if we can save this thing. The pickup screen's actually intact, but it would have been very, very unhappy if we ran this. Fully clogged up. Wow. Carburetor needs a new draw tube too. Just never ending with this thing. That's what happens when they sit this long. I couldn't stop. Look inside the carburetor. That is all trash fuel right there and water. I guess it's really just water. And then we're gonna fix the pickup tube. I'll get the draw tube cleaned out with Carb Clean. We'll make it run. And we'll just get all of this cleaned up. A lot of Carb Clean, a little bit of time. And we should have this thing back in optimal condition. And the diaphragm actually came out great. It's right there. Everything's gonna go back together on that. Let's get this thing clean. The carburetor gives me something to do while the tank gets all put back together. All right, guys, the tank repair here is the fun part. And we are gonna try to go something like this. I wanna cover the entire section that was weak. So we'll go all the way up here, try to feather this out kind of like that with just a ton of the epoxy. All you have to do is firmly apply pressure to the lower half of the pouch. Let's get some goo up here and pop it. There we go. And then we're gonna go ahead and mix this up, and it becomes extremely hot very quickly. I have noticed pinholes all the way out to here and all the way over here. So we have a lot of coverage we gotta get out of this package. I probably should have got 2 of these. But hey, the repair I did on Eric's International is still working today, which is pretty cool. This stuff does really work. All right, we're cutting it. Probably cut it too much right here, but here we go. Oop, don't do that. Let's install. And let's pour in some more. Ooh. We've got a little bit more in here. Oh, wow, it's like 100 degrees. All right, that's it. I think our tank's repaired. I wish I had a way to cut the strings off, but I guess we'll just hack those off when it's all set up. Let's hope it holds, but I think it's good to go. There is a lot of epoxy on there. It should hold forever. I'm only talking over this part because ultrasonic cleaners make the most terrible noise and distort the microphone on every camera you point at them. So this is the carburetor getting a bath. We are getting closer here. Now this should have gone in like the real carb clean. You guys know we have the illegal stuff now, but this just sat in the ultrasonic cleaner for about an hour and it did okay. I mean, the real carb clean would have just taken all this paint off immediately. It would have taken off any trace of that white residue from the water corroding with the metal over time, but it's pretty clean. All the passages are ready to rock. I mean, this is better than a field clean by quite a lot. I oiled the choke slide, so it's running very nicely. I say that, and then I try to do it with one hand and it doesn't work very nicely. But a couple little drops of oil right there. Everything's cleaned up about as well as it can be. So now we can put our spring in here. Put that guy back, it just kind of floats just like that. And then this gasket sits on top of that. And we'll put the screws back in and the carb rebuild will be done. There's the idle jet right there. And it's really clean. I sprayed it off with Carb Clean and cleaned the jet itself, so it's going right back in. I do have a new fiber washer to put on here. I clearly put our diaphragm gasket on there backwards, but that's cleaned up now, or in the right direction. It can only fit one way. So sticking these screws back in, just take a couple of seconds here. I wish I had the little jeweler's wire wheel so we could clean all the screws up and make them all look new, like we normally do in a carb rebuild, but this one is just getting done. I mean, I don't know what I'm gonna do with a giant fan that inflates hot air balloons after this. Maybe we'll start a fire, but that's about my only use for it. The Harbor Freight kit has the perfect red fiber washer there to go on the idle jet. So we'll just slide that on just like that and install it. So this goes right here, and yes, I did pull out the jet seat and check it. It's perfectly clear. This stuff all looks a lot better if we have that jeweler's wheel, like I said, but didn't even adjust the jet, so everything should be perfect as soon as we tighten this down. JB Weld needs to sponsor me after this repair. So we took the plastic welder right here, and I put a tab on each side of this, and it's pretty strong, but it can't leak, right? You need the pickup tube to be very solid. So what we're gonna do is take some plastic bonder now. This stuff, it sets slow enough. It works very, very well, but it sets slow enough that if you try to have it hold something together like this, it'll fall off. So that's why I use the plastic welder, just to give myself something to start with. I'm gonna cut the tabs off right now, and then we're gonna mix up our plastic weld and smear it on here, and we'll have all of this put together in a package that's removable down the road. You can just pop it off with that little clip right there, and it's not gonna leak while you use it. I think it looks pretty good. That ought to hold some gasoline. All right, that's done. Let's give it some time. This needs more time. I think it's only been about 2 hours. It's still tacky, but we should be putting gas in this thing and starting it up by the end of the day. So a couple more hours and this thing will be fully sorted out. It's time for the unscented wind machine to run. Our tank is repaired. I just took a bunch of gas, took it outside and rinsed it as hard as I possibly could. Obviously I think I got all the rust out of it earlier, and anything that's left, well, hopefully it doesn't affect it one bit. So we're gonna put the tank on here loosely, and then we're gonna put the carb on, and then we're gonna put a little bit of fuel in it, and hopefully she fires right up and runs on her own. Everything's cleaned out. I know the pickup tube can draw. I think we're good, but let's find out. While I was doing this, I was like, yeah, it'd be cool to get all this painted. Getting this carb and this gas tank on this setup without pulling the whole engine off is such an issue that painting it is completely out of the question. But the screws are snugged up right there. All I have left to do is tighten up the connection to the engine itself on the carb here, which was a lot of fun getting all that on there with the gasket in place. But now that it's on there, 3 more screws to tighten up and we're ready to start it. I really hope this thing's ready to rock. Now this very bottom screw is sure fighting me, but we'll get it on here. Even if we have to use a wrench and go super slow, I'll get her done. Here we go, did we fix it? I don't think the tank's gonna leak. The carburetor's a little bit of a question. I think the pickup tube should be covered right there, and hopefully not super covered, because I'd like that JB Weld to have some time to sit. Gas cap. And we put the air cleaner on, but we'll get back to the air cleaner. Let's just choke it. And which way is more throttle? This, we'll just put it in the middle. Seems like a good amount of throttle. And see what happens. Maybe we need to give it some gas to get her going here. There we go. Quite a bit of gas right there. Oh, come on. It had to be pulling fuel in by there. We'll just pull it. Gotta keep it running for a minute. Get the fuel going. The gas going again. It's running longer than it ever did before. Weird. How did it get plenty of fuel and stop running? That doesn't make any sense. Guys, we were finally getting fuel back up through the carb there. I don't know if I just don't have it adjusted right or what's going on, but it's clearly starting to run when it's on the choke right there. But now it's getting warm and it doesn't want to be on the choke. I'm trying to use the choke to force as much fuel up into this thing as I can. No leaks, so that's good. What a pain. I mean, this thing needed, we should have done a full hardcore carb clean on this, and then what it really needed was a pickup tube too. I don't think it's leaking, but at the same time, could have a new one. Well guys, I had it nailed there. It ran for like 3 minutes, then I restarted the camera and it dies again. Not sure what's going on with that, but I started adjusting the idle air right here and it was starting to run really, really well. I think I had it all the way closed off when I actually installed this. Let's take a quick look and make sure we didn't smash this guy. It looks perfect. Just in case, I'm gonna snug this up. So there's a half. Let's go with 1. There's a turn and a half. We're just doing a turn and a half, that's for sure. I might be flooding it at this point. Well, the propeller hasn't flown apart yet, and I think we made excellent progress today. It will run for minutes at a time now, and now that it's all warmed up though, it needs more idle adjusting, and for some reason I went all the way in and then back out a turn and a half, and I'm still fighting it. So I'm like playing the choke and air adjustment dance at the same time to try to make this thing stay running. And it just doesn't want to do it. But it does run without the squirt bottle of gas, which is pretty amazing. Maybe I'll have my dad come over here and do his carb magic and get that adjusted, and we'll be ready to rock. Anyway, now we need to get this thing shiny. So I'm gonna get that Brillo pad wet, and we're gonna start cleaning this thing up and see if we can make this entire thing shimmer in the sun when it's inflating its next hot air balloon. Well, it's been a few hours and I took the front grill outside, put it on the ground and scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed with Brillo pads. And it's looking pretty chromy now, right? It's nice to touch. Obviously it's hard to get in these spots here. Really hard to get those. I'm gonna see if I can find an even better way to clean this thing up because I have hours in scrubbing already. And I love the way it's turning out, but it's not quite there yet. And obviously we haven't done the back because it's not quite as easy to take the back off. I can do it on here, but it is much, much harder. But then I decided it was time to get the air filter and put all of this back together. Also, speaking of, tank's not leaking. The old JB Weld tank weld works so well. That stuff is just magical. And also you can see when it's running, gas is kind of coming out of that gasket right there on the gas tank. Between the carb and the gas tank, there's a little gasket. It was kind of worn out, but I cleaned it up, thought it would hold. Didn't hold. There's a lot of gas splashing up and then coming down. So I went to order an air cleaner, and then you can buy a gasket kit for about $20, and you can also buy the air cleaner for $10, but you could actually buy the entire carburetor with every single bit of that, including a new tank gasket, a new gasket to the engine, and the air cleaner with new pickup tubes for $19. So I ordered the new carburetor so we could replace all of it. We might as well do that and have a new pickup tube. I know I put all this time in today, and I shouldn't have. I just didn't realize that you could replace all of this that economically. When that new carburetor comes in, I'll throw it on here. We'll finish cleaning up the fan, shroud and everything like that. Might even give the old stand a paint coat. A coat of paint. I don't even know how I turned that around. But we'll probably have this totally cleaned up and then ready to go join someone else's hot air balloon adventure. I hope, because it's really cool. The longer I play with it, the more fun it is. And I don't think the grain is separating on the fan blade. I know there were some comments saying that, and at first I was like, yeah, that's gonna come apart. But the more I get close to it, and now that I've had the grill off, I actually think the blade itself is in pretty good shape. I'll give you guys the old blade up close. She's not coming apart. And there's a little spot right there. I might even unbolt the prop. I really don't want to because I think it's relatively well balanced, but I might unbolt it and spray some poly on it in the next video too. Just a quick little sand and a little bit of poly, and that will make sure this thing lasts for years to come. Anyway, that's the update on the world's most dangerous fan. And whatever you do, don't get close to this thing. while the fan shroud is off of there. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts just like this. We should make one about big fans now at this point. That'd be a pretty good shirt. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. You better believe I did do the dangerous thing. Now that we have the shroud off, I tried it. I mean, just like hand propping an airplane, right? You gotta get back, keep your body away from it, and then, oop. And then it's gotta start, right? I kinda don't want it to, but I did the dangerous thing. A little bit of spray poly and a little bit of sanding, and hopefully I'll just be real careful around the decal. I'm not taking that off no matter what.